Hello and welcome back to BannerKings, and we are here with this. It is a mirror match. BannerKings is where we're at. Let me see. Yeah, let me just do that again. I'm gonna leave that in actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave that in. All right. So welcome back. That was totally on purpose, of course. All right. We have a mirror match here between Vincantios and Abelitos. As you see, they are completely mirrored. They have 641 each in their armies. I actually can't believe this. I don't know why. I don't know why they have this. But one thing I do want to do is I want to go to the army screen and actually see if I can maybe get a couple of people to join us. As you can see, we are getting a little unlucky. I might be able to get Saratis and maybe Carnal Desires to help us. Maybe we'll be able to do that. Vipon could potentially come as well, but unfortunately for us, he's extremely expensive. Why is he so expensive? Look at that, 200 influence. 285 influence for that guy. That is absolutely overpriced. Is it though? That's the funny thing. I don't know whether it is actually overpriced. Anyway, these guys are going to take an age to get here, but we're going to have to. And, well, the thing is, I actually need to go in here. This is going to be a bit of a troublesome situation, I think. I kind of need to go in here. Because he's wanting very badly. As you can see, we're actually in a pretty bad situation. We may even lose this. This might be bad. Maybe I shouldn't have gone in here just yet. Maybe I should have just seen what was actually going to happen, but... Ha. Alright, fine. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go, see what happens. Obviously, bear in mind, my army should be better than what he has. You know, we should have a much more, shall we say, stable army than he does. And we have... How many archers? How many archers do I have? I can't actually see that right now. 38. Well, that's not exactly great, but should be good enough, right? I feel like it should be probably good enough for us to maybe do a little bit of something here. I don't have any horse archers. That's a bit of a problem. And as you can see, we're having some issues here. Ooh, that lance could have been very dangerous for us, actually. Thankfully, we're okay, though. As I was saying in the previous episode, this is literally all about just morale, because they've got a lot of leaders as well. I think there's like, what, 4 or 5 leaders here? There's no way I'm going to be able to do anything against them, unfortunately. Let's go for a couch lance. Oh, are you... Come on. You could do a lot better than that. Come on. Let's do that. Let's do it. Yeah, nice. Okay, a little bit of extra damage. Not too bad. Let's do some damage here. Nice. Even if I just do a little bit, it doesn't really matter. As long as I just do any damage. That is what I'm looking for. Just any damage. Because as long as I'm doing some damage, it has the potential to actually give us the victory. Because if I do, 90% of a particular opponent's damage, then they are literally just going to die. They're just going to end up dying as a result of that. Because I've contributed so much, they are just going to catch a stray arrow or a stray hit from someone, and then they are inherently just going to flop. They're just going to flop. The referees are going to call it. They're going to get the 2 free throws. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you know how it goes. Anyway, so we are just going to make sure here that we actually attack the back line a little bit. Because these guys with their thrown weapons, they're actually pretty damaging. They can destroy shields really, really fast. And that's obviously something that we'd like to try to prevent as well. I mean, it feels to me like actually playing defensively is pretty much the go-to. Because I don't know whether you've noticed that over the last couple of battles that we've had, but we've been playing very defensively. We're basically just waiting for the opponent, and we are skirmishing with our cavalry. Any single time we have our cavalry available. Look at that. Wow, Vasilio is just absolutely wrecked. Got her in the neck right there. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, point is, as you see, the enemy is always aggressive. They're always the one to be aggressive, and they're always the one to actually, seemingly, take way too many casualties, because they are, in fact, walking into a shield wall formation, or it feels like a shield wall formation of infantry troops, and it is almost like they are walking into a stone wall here. You know, it's like a complete barrier of impenetrable darkness that can only be abated by the shields of light, and they don't have that, because you need to go to the level 30 dungeon to be able to get that, or you need to not die and get your horse killed. Oh, this is gonna be funny. Can I actually get away from this? It might be... Oh, I actually hit someone? Are you serious? Okay. Well, that's hilarious. Oh, I hit that guy too? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, well... I certainly was not expecting to live. Let's just say that. I certainly wasn't expecting to live. But yeah, as you can see, my people are literally just standing back here. I actually don't mind about dying here. I think this is actually pretty cool, because it's been a long time since I have been eliminated in battle. And for me personally, I really enjoy having a bit of variety. And that's the reason why generally I actually take more chances as time goes on. Because if I am immortal, or if I am, you know, almost untouchable in regards to being killed, I feel like I should take more and more and more chances to increase the fun factor. Because from my perspective, I don't want to be just untouchable, you know. I want to go in there. I want to push the limit of how much damage we can actually live through. And that's kind of the whole deal here. But as you can see, my infantry are basically just standing still until the opponent comes closer. And as soon as they come close, our guys literally just, they kind of like, I don't know, tighten up or something like that. They kind of tighten up, and they just murder from a defensive standpoint. There is very little the enemy seemingly can do. The AI is very good on the allied side, not so much on the enemy side, but that's because of their orders. They are ordering them into a more aggressive action. And as you can see, we got 99 renown for this, 124 influence. 10,000 gold is our reward for the plunder here. One thing I still vehemently disagree with. I'm not a big fan of that. It used to be different way back in the day when you first started playing. You know, if you... I'm actually not entirely sure if that version is still available, but if you're interested, go back in time, you know, because technically you can still go back in time, maybe. You could just right-click on your Bannerlord installation, go to betas in the menu there, and select from the drop-down menu the earliest possible version that you can go for. Hopefully it's a really early version, maybe the one that was available right after the game was launched. And if you go in there and you play, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because it is literally one of the most rewarding experiences you're ever going to see when it comes to defeating lords and building workshops. And obviously it was completely imbalanced in regards to workshops, because workshops were making you 10,000 gold per day, which obviously is way, way, way too much. But you were able to capture, or should we say, defeat vassals, and there was no cap. There was no cap on how much money you would plunder from their coffers. And I personally very much prefer that, because imagine it this way. These guys, right? These guys, they all have probably a significant amount of, I don't actually want to go into the siege here. They have a massive amount of money on them most of the time. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time they have a lot of money on themselves. And oh, look at that, Zendar has been eliminated. That is indeed the first faction that has been eliminated in our series right here. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, anyway, So obviously, in the case of the earlier version, the vassals sometimes would have, I don't know, 200,000, 300,000, maybe even more than that. Maybe even they'd have 800,000, 900,000 in cash in regards to the lieges and things like that, right? And in those cases, it would always be a staggering amount of reward that you would get for putting yourself on the line by going into battle with these opponents. And when you would hopefully defeat them, you know, because let's face it, sometimes it's not actually, it's not predetermined whether you're going to win sometimes. When you would defeat them, you would be sufficiently rewarded for your efforts. And I personally really enjoy that. I think that that is a really nice gameplay loop. Because let's face it, when you play a game, right? When you play a game and you do something that requires quite a significant amount of effort, do you want to be rewarded for that effort, or do you not want to be rewarded for it? Because from my perspective, I always would like to have some form of reward, whether that be a small reward or something a little bit larger, just some kind of reward. But as it stands right now, if you defeat someone that has over 2 million, and let's just say for the sake of the example here, let's say they have 200 million. Okay, just for the sake of the example, okay? Let's say they have 200 million gold, and you defeat them in a battle, and they have exceptional troops. Let's say they have some of the highest tier troops in the game, and they're really hard, and you manage to defeat them just purely because of, you know, strategy, tactics, or maybe you have a slight edge on numbers to them, or anything like that. Let's just say that you managed to achieve victory through some means or another. And with the current system, you're going to get rewarded, and the reward is going to be 10,000 gold. Yes, 10,000 gold. And then you may think to yourself, okay, well, what's going on with that? Why do I only get 10,000 gold from a guy that has 200 million gold? You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why I personally think that that particular cap is ridiculous. I don't think that there should be a such a strict cap. I think it should be a percentage of the opponent's funds, of the opponent's treasury, because I think that's much more in keeping with the scaling of the game. Because imagine you do actually defeat that guy with 200 million, and you put in a huge amount of effort. Let's say you lose 80% of your troops in the process, and you get 10,000 gold for it. That's just not very, you know, that's just not very cool. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be saying in the comments right now, yeah, but you defeated that guy who's really, really strong. And then, well, I'll say to those people right now, the reason why it's good, obviously, is, yeah, sure, you do indeed eliminate that guy that is very, very powerful, and you make it so that he is now no longer as powerful. However, as soon as he gets back on his feet, which is pretty much inevitable from an AI perspective, of course, they're always going to get back on their feet relatively fast. But as soon as that happens, he's going to be basically almost back to full strength, dependent on your settings and dependent on, you know, all that stuff. And if he has 200 million gold, he is literally just going to immediately upgrade a bunch of people. He's going to get great gear for them. He's going to, basically he's just going to be almost back up to full strength. And so for your effort, and we're going to be going in here just now because we've just taken down the walls. And so for your effort of taking down that guy, you gain 10,000 gold. You gain a little bit of loot from him as well. You gain the ability to obviously take some prisoners. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so 200 million gold he has, just from the example. And you're just getting that. Whereas with the old system, you would actually get much more. You would get, upwards of 60,000, 80,000 or something like that from someone that has a relatively significant amount of money. And that just makes all the sense in the world to me. And that's the reason why I personally believe there should be a much greater, yeah, shall we say, split, or a much greater cap on that. Obviously, I don't know whether there are mods to do that or anything, but I feel like that should be a base game thing in general. I think that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, I don't see a reason why a, should we say, an enemy force would be like, oh yeah, no, we only want 10,000 from you. You know what I mean? It kind of feels to me like that is a little bit illogical, I guess, to a certain degree, because let's face it, if you're at war with some people and you want to make them pay, you know, both figuratively and literally, why would you then decline to take everything that they've got? Obviously, I'm not talking about taking everything they have, of course, because that's way too much. Let's say that, you know, you defeat 200 million guy. You know, he's obviously not going to give you every single little bit he has, because they're going to be in treasuries, they're going to be, you know, all over the place. But he's going to have cash on him, and that's the whole point. They're not all going to just have 10,000. They all have much, much more than that, in actual fact. So that's my main deal there. But that's the reason why I'd highly recommend, if you are someone that is interested in that, just go back in time, you know, just go back in time, get that early version of Bannerlord installed, and have a look and actually see how the game has changed since that time, and see whether you see whether you prefer it, because there are a lot of changes that have been made that I personally disagree with, but that's the way they wanted to go with it, so that's their choice, obviously. I still find the game fun. Don't get me wrong, I still find it fun, but there are some things that definitely made it less enjoyable. Just because of that simple fact. As I say, a lot of suggestions from my side in regards to all these kinds of things, and I'm not even talking about making it more, you know, I'm not even saying to make it easier, you know, that's the funny thing. You know, a lot of people are going to, you know, hear my comments and be like, yeah, you just want it to be easier. No, that's actually not even the case, because all I'm actually saying is it doesn't make any sense realistically to just give 10,000 from a guy that has 200 million. Again, just an example. You know, it's just from a pure and simple thematic perspective. I mean, who's gonna be like, yeah, you know, we've been enemies for 5 years. We've been enemies for 10 years, or even longer than that. Let's say that you have a literal, I don't know, blood feud with a particular faction. Let's say you're role-playing or whatever, and you attack this one guy who slaughtered your family or something like that. I don't know, you know, role-play purposes and so on. And then all of a sudden you just go, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna take all your money. I'm just gonna take 10,000. And again, that's just so weird. You know, I mean, from a balancing perspective, sure, okay, fine. I'm not actually saying to take every single bit of his money, like I've already said. I'm just saying that in general, capping it at a flat value is, in my opinion, a mistake. But that's just me. You know, I'm sure there are a bunch of people that have a load of different opinions about that. But for me specifically, I just think it should be a percentage, because if a guy has 200 million and the percentage is 20%, or, you know, somewhere around there, just imagine how much cash you're going to get. And it's actually going to be worth it for you to attack this extremely dangerous opponent, who is, in fact, very much capable of completely decimating your forces and indeed taking you prisoner. So I don't see the reason why you shouldn't be rewarded sufficiently for taking on such a dangerous assignment. That's my thought on it anyway. And yeah, we're actually taking this. We're just going to go over here real fast. So I'm just going to wait, because I can't get through that tunnel while my forces are standing through there. And now I can, so that's nice. And we can just go around the side here. And now these guys are done. These guys are out of here. All right. And you know what's super funny? I literally saw this crate right here just now, and I thought to myself, can I loot this? And then I remembered, no, you can't. This is Mount and Blade. You can't do that. But yeah, those kinds of things would be pretty cool as well. I mean, there's a chest here. Obviously, this is a marketplace, So it's highly unlikely. Well, it looks like a marketplace to me. So it's highly unlikely there's going to be anything in there, but maybe there's going to be some cash or something. I don't know. But yeah, I've been playing too many RPGs, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. I just thought to myself, wait a minute. Is that something I can loot? Yeah. Anyway, we're done here. And the main reason why I wanted to actually take this is because it's right next to Amatatus, and it just makes all the sense in the world to expand our domain in and around this area. And there we have it. 34 influence, 31 renown. Obviously not very good, but that is indeed because we are doing this with other people. We're doing this with other people. We're making it so that we have a significant force capable of taking this. And Saratus was absolutely useless, by the way. Did you see him? Did you see him? When we were calling him to join our army, he had literally, what, I think 100 and something troops. But when we started the siege, he had 22. Yeah, he had 22 or some crazy number like that. And I was just thinking to myself, what's going on with him? What's going on with that? Well, how is he losing troops? I can only assume that he just didn't have enough food, but it's funny because I have so much food. I don't know why I wouldn't have shared some with him. I don't know. I don't really understand that, but oh well, never mind. But yeah, anyway, apart from that, yeah, Cestadime Castle is still, yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing over there. I was kind of hoping that me doing this entire siege would kind of maybe have given this guy a little bit of, shall we say, leeway. You know, I kind of wanted him to, wait a minute, let me just go in here and actually help him out, because otherwise he's probably going to get himself murdered. As you can see, we increased our relation with him. That was super easy. Basically, a really, really good way of leveling up relation is just to shadow one of the really low-powered vassals in the area, and you'll see very quickly how easy it is to get relation. And as you can see, I am extremely slow right now because of herding. I have a huge herding problem. They actually went in. Are you joking? That is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. So yeah, Tynops is obviously a guy that I've been wanting to attack for quite some time here. He is very much overdoing it. There is no way he's going to be able to do anything here. Yeah, so Saratus, we're going to be just voting for him, albeit with a very small amount of influence. We're just going to limp in here, and he's now got 97 relation with us. Maybe I shouldn't have even done that, because I am going to be helping him in this battle. I'm not sure if I'm actually helping him, though. I could be helping a different primary vassal, so maybe it's not that necessary. I don't know. Anyway, once again, we are basically... I'm always... This is the funny thing. You may see me do auto-delegate quite often, but one thing you've got to realize is that I'm always keeping an eye on what our troops are actually doing. So if I see the infantry is advancing, I'm always going to look and see where they're advancing to, because I don't want them to advance to a situation where they're just going to be at a disadvantage. I'm always going to make sure that they are doing what I personally would like to see them doing. You know, so that's being defensive or offensive or whatever. And in this case, obviously, I want to try and be as defensive as possible. Wow, taking massive damage, actually. Talking about being defensive. Yeah, this guy actually has some pretty decent troops, so we might have some issues here. But we do outnumber him, I think. At least a little bit. I'm taking pretty big damage. I mean, that's the problem with fighting people with spears. They all have piercing damage. So, of course, it is going to be a bit more dangerous. Yeah, they're also going to be blocking me quite nicely as well. I mean, it's very, very lucky if you're actually able to get by their block, because RBM is obviously making them very skilled at what they do. And let me just see here. Here we go. Nice, nice, nice. Basically, I have just come to terms with the fact that when you're in a battle and the opponent sees you coming or generally knows that you're there, you may as well just sign out. And you may as well just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm never going to hit this guy. So you should just move on and go somewhere else until you have the ability to attack them from behind or attack someone else. And basically the play style that I've adopted is just one of just hitting and running away as fast as possible. And that seems to be making a pretty big difference. Seems to be quite effective for us. But obviously, there are downsides to that, where I'm actually being pretty low DPS right now. And that's not exactly great. If you don't know what DPS is, that is just a MMORPG term for damage per second. And I'm basically just borrowing it here for a very specific reason. I actually feel like I should retreat. You know that. I feel like we're going to lose this. Yeah. I feel like we're going to lose this. Not because I'm going to die or anything like that, but just because I feel like we are extremely low. We're low in terms of combat power. I'm not entirely sure if that is... No, we've got the same exact amount of troops on the field as the opponent does. But I think they have better cavalry. Okay, we're going to have to retreat here. I'm sad to say that we're going to have to retreat here. This is not exactly what I wanted to do. But as you can quite clearly tell, they do have the advantage. Can't retreat when there are enemies nearby. Who's following me? I don't see anyone. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna have to leave. This is kind of not so great. As you can see, yeah, this guy just has good units. I didn't even bother to look at what he had, but as you can see, he actually does have... Whoa, yeah, okay, never mind. I should have looked at this beforehand. You can see here that he has Calradoi Equites? I don't know how to say that, but he has 64 of those, and he also has 8 Cataphractos units. And those things, they're just going to absolutely destroy. And the other guy also has a bunch of troops as well. So we're going to have to leave that, unfortunately. And the lords are... I hope that they're actually not going to attack me. Because I am having a herding problem at the moment. So I'm moving very, very slowly. But yeah, as you can see, they did get themselves taken prisoner. But that's okay. Because we've run some interference between them. We've taken a castle. Basically, castles and taking things like that are pretty much the entire reason why we would do that in the first place. And we now also have a significant amount of loot that we can sell to the nearby town, which obviously is exactly what we want. And we're just going to be selling some sheep here, chickens, geese, and some cows. And then my herding is already gone, which is absolutely wonderful. And then we can just get rid of all of this stuff as well. Someone actually asked me a while ago, whoa, look at that, 291,000 we just gained just from selling that. 465,000 and 621,000 we are ending on. That is crazy good. Yeah, anyway, as I was about to say, someone actually asked how our companions are doing and whether I should upgrade them or not, because we obviously have so much cash right now. So now, here's the thing. Basically, they have really, really good gear most of the time. The only thing that maybe Zuera could use is a slightly better cape. At the moment, Migali is also doing a fantastic amount. As you can see, he's got great gloves, he's got great everything. Sulatha is the only one that doesn't really have very good gear, but I haven't really put in a huge amount of effort to getting her geared. So I guess what I could do is just buy her some stuff right now, because I might as well, right? Might as well. And let's see if there's anything else here available that we can get her that is actually going to be somewhat useful. Let's see. Can we... Where are some cloaks? There are no cloaks? Are you serious? Why are there no cloaks? There we go. Yeah, there we are. That's slightly better. And we can get her some gloves, and there we have it. Okay. And then we can buy her a really, really good weapon. Obviously, she has one-handed skill as far as I'm aware. She's actually a crossbow person. She has very little one-handed. She's a crossbow person? Okay, that's kind of weird. All right, sure. She's a crossbow person. So I guess I will give her a one-handed. We'll buy her a Thamaskeen steel thing. Because that's obviously going to be insane for her. And then we're just going to get her a really, really good shield. This is obviously a fantastic shield, as you can see right here. This has 2,000 HP? Are you serious? Should I use this myself? Yeah, Katamenos the Surgeon, he needs to also be upgraded, but What is going on with these shields? These shields are absolutely insane. They have 2,000 HP. Wait a minute. I'm gonna use one. Why would I not, right? Why would I not? Okay, I don't have throwing skill yet, as you can see, so I can't use the fire pots or anything. I don't think any of my people can actually use the fire pots, so that's kind of sad, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Okay, so do these guys actually have crossbows? That's the question. They do seem to have bolts, so I guess what I'll do is we'll just equip that. And then we have a crossbow here. This is a 410-pound doubler belt crossbow. I have zero idea what that means. Because I'm not a medieval weapons historian, so I have no idea whether this is actually any good. I'm going to assume that the higher the poundage, the better it is. I can only assume that to be the case because that means the amount of force that it's going to use when it unleashes the bolt. And or maybe this is just how heavy it is to lift the crossbow. I'm obviously joking. But yes, there you go. All right, so we got us some really, really good gear. I'm not going to gear up Catamenos right now. I'm going to do that off screen if I remember to do so. And otherwise, let's just see. Is there anything else that I can get? Maybe I can get a better mace. I know someone said that I should probably get a better mace or something like that. I was kind of thinking that maybe what I want to do is maybe I want to get a good piercing weapon. And I know that seems super funny considering I have been using maces for quite some time and I've been loving it the entire time because, let's face it, they are really good. You know, they're really, really fun. But I'm just wondering whether I want to get something that is a bit more geared towards like a thrusting playstyle. I think that might be quite fun. I mean, you could see here that I could get the light royal mace if I want to. That's a two-handed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's a bit difficult, isn't it? Is this thrusting, actually? The dagger could be fantastic. What do you think about a dagger? Is that bad? Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Basically, what we need to do, by the way, is also we need to look at the RBM stats. Right? We want to look at the RBM stats. We do not want to be looking at the base stats, because the base stats, while they do have a small amount of impact, as in, you know, the swing speed and so on and so forth, they're not really going to make too much of a difference most of the time. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to try out the dagger. I think this is probably going to be absolutely awful, but I'm going to try it out nevertheless. Let's see how it goes. Maybe it's going to be cool. Anyway, we sold 500,000 worth of gold. We got one of our companions completely kitted out. And we can also ransom our prisoners. We got 128 in roguery skill now, which is pretty nice. And we can also recruit some people from here, which is also great. And as you can see, Vincantios is still besieging Sestadime Castle. Not sure what he's doing, but yeah, oh well, never mind. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.